Today we're going to put together a blackberry cobbler and some really yummy looking hamburgers that I saw on Facebook. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put the cobbler together because it can be cooking while you're doing everything else. So you want to take a stick of butter and melt it. Now, you can melt it in a glass 9x9 if you have it, or you can melt it in a measuring cup and pour it into the container you're going to use. But I buy these silicone baking dishes, and you can just put the butter in the bottom of the baking dish, stick it in the microwave for 2 minutes on 50% power, and the butter is melted perfectly. So go ahead and have your butter melted, and then you're going to add your fruit. Now I'm using half fresh, half frozen, so I have about a pound of fresh blackberries, and then I've got frozen berry blend to make about 8 cups of fruit. And I like to use frozen fruit. You can also use canned fruit, any kind of canned fruit, but I like to use frozen fruit because it doesn't go bad, and fruit is so expensive. I hate to see fruit go bad in the fridge. So here I'm using about half and half, and you just pour your fruit into your baking dish on top of the hot melted butter and just spread it around so that it's even. And then you're going to mix together 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of flour, and 1 cup of milk. So I already have my sugar and flour measured. I'm just going to add 1 cup of milk and then just blend it all together. You don't have to have a blender to do this or a mixer. You can just mix it with a fork. Mix it all together and then pour that over the fruit and the melted butter. And you're going to bake it at 350 for about 30 minutes until you see the crumb mixture that we're mixing right here. You'll be able to tell when it's done. It'll get a nice golden brown. And depending on your oven, it could take a little longer. Mine usually takes a little bit longer than 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes. So you're just going to mix that all together. Try to get most of the lumps out. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's not a big deal. And then take your fruit and just pour it right over top. Just all the way around so that it gets on top of all the fruit. And then you're going to cook it. 350 for 30 minutes. And that's all there is to making your berry, or really any fruit, cobbler. So now we're going to pull this aside, get it in the oven, and we're going to come back and do these scrumptious hamburgers that I saw on Facebook. All right, so to get ready for our burgers that I found on Facebook, we're going to take an onion, and we're just going to cut the top and bottom, a thin piece of the top and bottom off so that you have it like that ready to peel. Go ahead and just peel the skin off. And then we're going to cut rings, and we want nice, big, fat rings. So what I've done is I've already cut one, and I'm going to show you here how I did it. I'm cutting on both ends. So you see how that's about a ½ inch in on each side. And then I'm just using the middle piece. So I'm going to cut off the one piece. And then I'm going to put that piece in a Ziploc bag to use for another day, another recipe. So now I have an onion with 1/3 of it missing. And then I'm going to cut off the other side. You can see like that, to give me a nice thick middle piece. And that big thick middle piece, here's the other side, is where I'm going to get my nice big onion rings. So you have to be careful not to break them when you're pushing through the middle. Just kind of give a little pressure and they'll come apart. And I'm making 8 burgers, so I have 3 pounds of meatloaf mix. Now, you've heard me talk about meatloaf mix before. It comes in, at my grocery store, it comes in a white package, and it says on it, meatloaf mix. And basically, it's just veal, beef, and pork. and it makes a really good burger. This is all I use now when I'm making sliders for our tailgating, because it just makes the very best burgers. And I'm making 8 burgers out of 3 pounds of meat. So I have a pound of veal, a pound of pork, and a pound of ground beef basically in this meatloaf mix. So I need 8 of these onion rings. So just set those to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need one more. And then, like I said, the part of the onion that I'm not using, I'm just going to stick that in a Ziploc bag to chop up for another recipe. Okay, so then we're going to take bacon and we're going to wrap the ring of raw onion with the bacon. I've not had a lot of luck with raw bacon in the grill because it tends to make the flame flare up, and we use charcoal. So this recipe, I'm going to try the pre-cooked bacon and see if it does a little bit better. I've done this before for our tailgate, use the pre-cooked bacon, and it always seems to do a good job. So you can use raw bacon. Just make sure that you buy the really thinly sliced bacon, because the thick sliced bacon, when you go to put it on the grill, it will really make your grill flame get high. So just wrap it around the onion and set them to the side on a tray that you can sit back in your refrigerator. Because once you get all the onions wrapped in the bacon, then you're going to take your ground meatloaf mix or ground beef, whatever it is that you like to use, and you're going to make balls out of them. So I made a nice big ball. I have 8 of them because I want 8 burgers. And then you're going to take a can and you're going to squish the can down into that ball and form the ground beef around the can. So see how it's coming up? You just push the can straight down and form the ground beef around the can. Then you take another piece of bacon and wrap it around the top of the burger. And actually it takes 2 for each burger. So you have your bacon wrapped around it, and then you pull the can out and it leaves a nice little bird's nest in your burger. And so then you sit that on your tray with your rings of onion that are also wrapped in the bacon. So I'm going to set that on my tray. And once you get all of those done, you're going to take 3 different types of cheeses, or you can cheat and you can just buy the Mexican 4 cheese or whatever kind of cheeses that you like, cheddar, pepper jack, and you're going to mix 1 cup of cheeses all together with about 1/4 cup of jalapenos, and just mix that thoroughly so that the jalapenos are throughout the cheese. And then you're going to place the burgers on the grill with the rings of onion, and while they're on the grill, you're going to scoop this cheese mixture into the little bird's nest hollow that you made in the burger. And then you're going to grill that for 15 minutes on a medium indirect heat. Then place the already cooked for 15-minute onion on top of the already cooked for 15-minute burger nest, we'll call it, and cook it for another 25 minutes on medium indirect heat. And then you have a nice cheesy jalapeno stuffed burger to put on your buns. So I'll show you a picture of it when we're done. I'm going to get these finished. You also want to stick them in the refrigerator. That's why we're putting them on a tray that will stick in our refrigerator for 1 hour. And that way the bacon will stay on it when you take it off of your tray and put it on the grill, and it will stay on it throughout the cooking. These are going into the fridge for 1 hour.